Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second installment of Riscosity's Lightning Interview Series. And it's my pleasure today to introduce Michael Machado, a security industry veteran and CISO at public and pre-IPO companies, including RingCentral, Shippo, and BeyondTrust. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thank you, Jackson. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. So we'll hop right into it. So starting off with the first question, what would be your first piece of advice for a new CISO?
I think the most important thing is to align with the business, which to unpack that phrase a bit, it really means understanding the business you're in, uh, understanding how the company makes money, understanding the organization's strategic priorities, and how those can either be bolstered or harmed based on security performance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so underappreciated in this industry that being a CISO is so much more than being a CISO. It's knowing it all. So yeah, absolutely.
So not
And
just a job, it's an adventure.
yeah, well put. And when you think about remote teams specifically, what's your best advice for managing that? It's something everyone's had to adapt to so quickly over the past couple of years.
Yeah, when someone's remote, it generally requires more frequent communication, right? The opportunities for just overhearing a conversation in the hall or stopping by someone's desk aren't there. So I heard someone say to me at one time when they were remote, they felt like they had to communicate about three times as often to have have it be like they were there in person. So that stuck with me, and it's certainly something I try and do as well when I'm the one who's remote or when the entire team's remote. Definitely communicate things more frequently than you otherwise would if everyone was in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, getting a little bit into the juicier questions. When you think about budget as a CISO, for lack of a better way of putting this, what are the secret words to gain budget each year as a CISO? What's the trick to it?
I don't know that there's a trick per se. I mean, I think there are methods. I think some methods are better than others. I think maybe a bit of a uh, commonly used but lazy boogeyman might be like we need to do it for compliance or so on and so forth, right? That's certainly done, but not necessarily anything I'm recommending. I think the most important thing to do is to support the business needs, right? And a way to link this to budgetary asks is to tie your budgetary asks to strategic priorities, to be genuine and forthright about what you really need and not asking for things you don't need or more than what you need. Obviously, clarity matters, like making sure that the reasons why your budget asks tie back to strategic priorities are clear. Once you have budget, go build with a broader use case in mind. If you've got to go deploy ABC for one particular reason, ideally deploy that so that it serves broader use cases in addition to the core use case. Kind of leverage your investments to get the most out of them, not the least out of them, so to speak. And also be transparent about what's not funded. This can lead to questions and robust, healthy conversations about what it means that certain things aren't funded, perhaps why certain things aren't funded, and whether things should become funded. So that's part of, I think, a strong strategy and a mature way of doing it as well.
Yeah, what a novel concept, efficiency and transparency. Yeah,
No,
just
it's
so
like I said, I don't think it's magic, but
yeah.
good practice all the same.
Thank you. Yeah. Turning to data security specifically, could you share your thoughts on the importance of data flow visibility? Who would you say it's most important for?
I wouldn't say that it is singularly most important for any one individual or any one role. There are different use cases, right? I definitely think it's important for the CISO to understand where data is moving in and out of an organization and whether and so this so that a security team can see if it's going to places where you think it should not be going or aren't aware that it's going to. Equally important for data protection officers who need to understand whether uh, the data sharing that's taking place is disclosed and documented and known and understood. Um, Also, in my opinion, very important for engineering and or IT stakeholders, including leadership of those organizations. People need to understand, hey, we just started sending data, from production over to here. That's all well and good if there's a legitimate business need for this, and we know what's going from A to B. That's problematic if the leadership of those organizations isn't aware that various groups within their department are initiating certain types of data flows and data sharing. So again, not only one person is the best person, but I think it should be visible and shared across the organization with many stakeholders.
Hmm. And for companies figuring out the best way to gain that visibility and gain that control of their data flows, especially in the context of Gen AI and all that entails, what would be your best advice?
I guess the first thought that comes to mind is it's hard to do a good job at this without some sort of tooling. There's a lot of data, there's a lot of flows, there's a lot of volume, and to try and tackle this like some sort of manual documentation exercise is is unlikely to meet with success, and certainly very difficult to sustain, even if you are successful and achieve like a point in time assessment. So I think multiple types of tooling come into play. This is everything from data flow posture management to flow logging to Gen AI governance tools. I think it's important to understand what your goals are and what your needs are. Right, different tooling is going to have different functions, different value propositions. Some's going to have uh, a narrower lens, but might go deeper in a certain area, like Gen AI usage, something like that. Some might have a wider lens and say, like, tell me what all my flows are, but it's not going to be like doing sentiment analysis or something of any one given flow. And I think to do a thorough job requires multiple types of instrumentation and telemetry.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you so much for the time doing this. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure our audience will as well.
You're welcome. Happy to join you. Thanks for inviting me. Take care.